So many of you have heard one of the models that I use to understand the totality of our practice. 3 parts: self-awareness, which gives us the capacity for self-management, and out of which is born self-love. Self-awareness to self-management to self-love. So in essence, we're still just talking about that. But we're unpacking an important part of the self-awareness component. Radical honesty. Honesty is more difficult for us than we would like to admit. We are not programmed, hardwired, socialized to a great deal of honesty. Our brain is not dispassionately observing most of the time. Our default mode network, as it's called in neurobiological circles, in neuroscientific parlance, our default is not a super honest one. Right? It's negatively slanted. It's extremely self-concerned. It actually has a very small view. It has a very small view. And honesty is the opposite of that. Right? Honesty is a very open, right, spacious, unbiased view. Right? So we have to start there. The reason this topic is important is because it affects us all. Right? It's really easy to say like, oh, well, that person is a liar and they got caught and that's why, they're being fined or imprisoned. Right? To like really other this idea and to hold ourselves in this other category, like, oh, I'm an honest person. I'm not a liar. But much closer to the truth is the middle way, friends, is the middle way. I think likely many of us on the call have done a lot of work and put a lot of energy into being honest with others. I'm not suggesting that everybody here is regularly lying to people's faces. I imagine that's not the case. But what I want to talk about here is the level of honesty that we're maintaining with ourselves. The level of honesty we are even capable of maintaining with ourselves. This is where the practice is inviting us to shine our light. And yes, if the answer there is, oh, I'm not being honest with myself at all, right? Or if I have a very low degree of self-honesty, yes, that will ultimately translate to externalized dishonesty. In acceptance commitment therapy, for example, ACT, there's this idea, it's called the reality gap. And there's what's real right now, and then there's what I wish was real, right? My desired reality out there in my mind. And the bigger that gap is, the more pain we're in. Right? And so, if I'm really being dishonest with myself, if I am turning a blind eye again and again and again to the aspects of me and my reality that I don't like, or that I'm not ready to face, or that I don't want to see, or that I'm ashamed of. The list is long of reasons why. It can be as simple as because this aspect of my reality doesn't agree with the story I'm currently telling myself. Right? That's painful for us. That hurts us physically. Right? That pushes against the parts of our brain that are aligned to confirmation bias, right? That are looking for agreement. So it can be as simple as that, like, ooh, that doesn't agree with my current story, and so I'm going to look away. We're all doing that, and what I want to talk about today is parts of why and how we can unwind that and how important it is to face that. Because if we don't embrace this aspect of ourselves, if we don't take on this job of over time, right, long periods of time, gently and diligently producing radical honesty inside of ourselves, well, then eventually that reality gap, right, it just keeps becoming bigger then. It just keeps becoming bigger. If I turn away from one aspect of myself, like if I start ignoring what I eat, you know, then I start to feel bad physically, right? And my emotions become more erratic because I'm not eating healthily, right? And the next thing you know, I'm not sleeping well. And now I have this other reality gap to ignore. I have to start pretending like I sleep well, even though I wake up in the morning and I know, like, oh, God, I don't feel that rested. I wonder if that has anything to do with this 3 slices of pizza I ate last night at midnight right before I went to bed. You see? So we can think of ourselves now as we sit here as like, well, I'm a good person and I don't lie and, you know, I maintain an honest face to the world. But I caution you, like, you know, this is one of the easiest things to lie to ourselves about, right? The fact of the matter is, if you are not all the time, every day, right, training yourself in mindfulness, training yourself in paying attention with love to what is, then there is going to be a dearth, right? An insufficient amount of honesty inside of yourself. And it will eventually leak out. It will eventually leak out in ways that will not serve you. In ways that will not serve you. Or the world. Or the world.